panalasa. Naway matigil na to. Maraming na naperwisyo.
This week, a powerful force of nature reshaped lives across a remote corner of the Pacific. Super Typhoon Sinlaku, one of the strongest storms recorded so far this year, has left behind a trail of destruction across the Northern Mariana Islands. What began as a developing storm over warm ocean waters quickly intensified into a dangerous and life-threatening system. With extreme winds, relentless rain, and widespread damage, entire communities were pushed to their limits. Today, we take a closer look at what happened, how people were affected, and what comes next in the aftermath of this powerful storm. Super Typhoon Sinlaku made landfall in the early hours of Wednesday local time. At its peak, the storm unleashed winds reaching between 240 and 250 kilometers per hour. These were not just strong winds. They were destructive forces capable of uprooting trees, tearing apart buildings, and flipping vehicles. Residents described the sound as overwhelming, a constant roar, like a freight train passing overhead for hours without stopping. The storm hit hardest across the Northern Mariana Islands, a chain of small but densely populated islands in the western Pacific Ocean. Among the most severely affected areas were Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. For the people living there, this was not just another storm. It was an immediate threat to their safety and survival.
Typhoon ever happened in the city since I came in 1986. Oh my gosh.
The Northern Mariana Islands are a U.S. territory located thousands of kilometers away from the mainland United States. Despite their remote location, they are home to tens of thousands of people, families, workers, and in communities deeply connected to the land and sea. As Sinlaku approached, it intensified rapidly, leaving residents with limited time to prepare. Local authorities issued urgent warnings, encouraging people to secure their homes and move to emergency shelters if needed. But even before landfall, conditions had already begun to deteriorate. Winds strengthened overnight and heavy rainfall followed, creating dangerous and unpredictable conditions across the region. As daylight returned and the storm moved on, the true scale of the damage became visible. Homes were torn apart, roofs were ripped away, power lines were snapped, leaving entire neighborhoods without electricity. Trees and debris blocked major roads, making travel difficult, or in some cases impossible. In the hardest hit areas, some buildings were left partially destroyed, while others suffered severe structural damage. One of the most immediate challenges has been widespread power outages. Families were left without light, without air conditioning in a hot and humid climate, and without access to essential services. Communication systems were also disrupted. In some areas, residents were temporarily cut off, unable to reach loved ones or call for help. And then came the flooding. Heavy rains led to flash floods, especially in low-lying and coastal areas. Rising water levels created additional danger, while unstable ground increased the risk of mudslides in certain regions. Behind every statistic is a human story. More than 1,000 residents were forced to leave their homes and seek shelter in emergency facilities.
Look at the parking lot.
For many families, this meant long hours in crowded spaces, waiting, worrying, and hoping their homes would still be standing when the storm passed. Some residents described feeling their houses shake under the pressure of the wind. Others watched helplessly as parts of their roofs were torn away, unsure if the rest of the structure would survive. It was a night filled with fear and uncertainty. But amid the chaos, there were also moments of strength.
Update lang ako, baka di lang tayo makita bukas eh.
Neighbors helped each other secure homes before the storm arrived. Families shared supplies. Communities came together, offering support in whatever ways they could. Emergency responders worked through dangerous conditions to ensure people were safe. Their efforts played a critical role in preventing what could have been an even greater disaster. In events like this, one of the most pressing questions is always about loss of life. So far, there have been no confirmed reports of fatalities. Officials describe this as a significant relief, especially given the intensity of the storm. However, the situation is still developing. Damage assessments are ongoing, and some areas remain difficult to access. Relief efforts are now in full motion. Local government teams, along with humanitarian organizations, are working to provide food, clean water, and medical assistance to those affected. Crews are clearing debris, reopening roads, and working to restore power lines. These early recovery efforts are essential, but they are only the beginning of a much longer process.
Down. No more some trees standing.
Na natin, likod natin sir, oh. Ito na nga lang yung pang-view po natin, wala na. Yung storm po parang bumabalik.
Sobrang lakas ng bagyo, ayan.
Even though the storm has passed, the danger has not completely disappeared. Lingering rainfall continues to pose risks. Floodwaters in some areas have yet to recede. Weakened buildings could still collapse without warning. Residents are being urged to remain cautious, avoiding damaged structures and following official guidance. For many, the days after the storm may be just as challenging as the storm itself. Recovery will take time. The Northern Mariana Islands face unique challenges due to their remote location. Transporting supplies, repairing infrastructure, and rebuilding homes is often slower and more complex than in larger, more connected regions. Officials estimate that full recovery could take weeks or even months, depending on the extent of the damage.
People na dito, eh, oh.
At the same time, events like this highlight a growing concern. Storms in the region are becoming stronger and more unpredictable. Warmer ocean temperatures are fueling more intense weather systems, raising the risk for vulnerable communities. For those living in these areas, preparedness is no longer optional. It is essential. Super Typhoon Sinlaku has left a lasting mark on the Northern Mariana Islands, but it has also revealed something equally powerful: the resilience of the people who call these islands home.
Run, very dangerous.
I don't know what happened there at Beach Road or elsewhere, but right down here.
As recovery begins, support from both local and global communities will be critical in helping families rebuild their lives. If you would like to help, consider supporting trusted disaster relief organizations working on the ground. And as always, staying informed and prepared can make a real difference when facing natural disasters like this. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay aware, and we will continue to bring you updates as this story develops.